Thank you. Among for honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And Senior Z Pascal, thank you for the introduction. And that's my dad's name and my son's name as well. So nice to meet you. Yeah, it's a good name. Thank you for the honor to speak at the ANA annual reunion for 2022. I'm sure we are all happy to meet each other in person, trying to reconnect, how to engage as social beings instead of the Hollywood squares that we've been basically accustomed to for the past 2.5 years. So I'll start off by acknowledging all protocols. Everyone here is welcome, and I would like to share some thoughts, with you. We call it speech, but I hope we can have a conversation. And for me, it's good to reconnect with a number of you that I haven't seen in quite a while. Senior to 4, I haven't seen you over 4 decades. Good to see you today. And a number of you, I haven't seen you in a number of years, but I'm glad that we have a forum to connect. So I'd like to highlight the importance of our theme, building an enduring legacy. The fact that you are here today attests to the bond that exists amongst us because of Prempeh College. Call it what? University of Sofoline. For me, in 1976, basically, maybe it was a matter of what? Rebelling against the notion of going to Motown. I left Accra, at Motor Prep School and went to Prempeh College. I'd never been to Prempeh before. It was my cousin, Randy Folks, also from Butler House. Yeah, he got me to Prempeh. I basically didn't even know Kumasi that well, but I traveled all the way from Accra to Kumasi, and I never regret it. And I'll tell you why I've never regretted it, because Prempeh gets all the credit for the person that I am today and for the work that I do. So much about that. I would like to acknowledge and also celebrate the 78-year group. And it's indisputable that that year group is one of the most distinguished year groups in the annals of Prempeh College. And the facts, I would say, speak for themselves. I'll start off by saying that there are many examples, and some of you may ask, why? What sets this group apart? Why are they so special? Why are we celebrating them today? You already heard about the O-levels that was canceled, and Senior Z talked about it. So I've never seen any year group that took 3 grueling exams, 76. Well, you have 7 and 8. You're doing O-levels twice and at the same time studying for A-levels. But they came out with what? Flying colors, one of the, arguably the best grades that we've had in the history of the school. And as a test of their character and resolve, the headmaster actually vouched for them. So you're going to O-levels, or you're going to lower 6, but yet you also have to write the O-level exam. Somebody had to vouch for them. And let's see if that test of character for which the headmaster vouched for them has basically, held steady. And if we can prove that right over the years. So I'll come to that in a second. So it's not only academics, but if you talk about sports, and if you look at the history of the school, I was only in Form 1, and I recall interco or superzonals, something that I remember. We all felt very proud of Prempeh. And I can say, with all confidence, that if you look at the history of the school, this particular year group produced some of the greatest athletes. Some are here with us today. I'm sure you all remember Sabata, right, in hockey. And his junior brother Sabute was in G'Berg House, so I remember that. Then we had Alaji. We had our senior Kenneth Lomote Kelomo. Couldn't resist. But thank you for your service, and thank you for uplifting the name of Prempeh. We had Joe Caesar, and we had senior Aloma. Where is he? Yeah. So you had, a year group that did not trade academics for sports. And I remember during those times, basically you felt like you were floating, in the skies if you are from Prempeh. We felt great, we felt good. The question is, did that determination, that drive for excellence, did it wane after the 40 years for me, that, since I left Prempeh? Did that drive for excellence, did it fizzle out? Or was it built on a foundation which can stand the test of time? Today, among this group, and you heard about some of the work that they've done, and I'm sure if you dig deeper, you hear more about what they're doing. You have physicians, you have policymakers, you have researchers, they are leaders in their own communities, and they are making an impact. And I would like to point you to two more examples. On the 70th anniversary celebration of Prempeh College, this year group donated 2 3-bedroom bungalows to the school. And I'll say thank you, seniors. We appreciate you, and something that is worthy of appreciation. Then in 2017, this year group, 76, 78, also had a luncheon with our instructors at Prempeh. And it's not the lunch per se or the appreciation in terms of money which they recognize the instructors with. But the bottom line is that they carved out time. They were thankful for the seed that you have sown in them. And for that, we appreciate you. Only a few year groups have done that. It takes me back to my boss at Xerox. He's passed on, but there's something that he used to say which left a mark for me. That you can do many things, say many things. Yeah, people will remember it, some may easily forget it. But people will always remember you for how you make them feel. So we have to be very careful how we make people feel. So for that luncheon and for the appreciation and for the recognition that you gave our instructors, we say thank you. So certainly this year group has moved on and they've excelled. And that is something that I take note, something that all Amanfoɔ should take note. So in everything, there's a time to what? To reflect. And there's also the time to think about lessons learned, right? What can we learn from what this year group has done? Where does that leave us? How does that inform our actions, to uphold Prempeh and to lift Prempeh even higher and higher and higher? Above that school, which starts with what? Is it Akuamoah-Boateng House or was? I won't go any further. But the bottom line is that this year group has really reflected what it means by Subain and India. So what we learn from it, and how should we apply that to the work that we do? Or even in giving back to our communities or to Prempeh College. What should our dash, the time that we spend on earth, your birth date and the day you transition, what should we be remembered for? Because that is the time, that is game time for us. What should we be remembered for? So I'll sum all these questions up in what investments should we make in Prempeh that can stand, the time, all the challenges that we face, which is future-proof, which can withstand the vicissitudes of what? Time and the challenges. Today, we talk about Prempeh. I have very good memories, what Prempeh College was when I was there, and the fun, the academic challenges, how Prempeh was actually upheld. I mean, you go to Kumasi, you mentioned Prempeh, everybody wants to go to Prempeh. But the bottom line is that we have a problem. And we are not in Houston, we're in Aloma. We are here in Virginia. If we want to restore Prempeh College today, as we stand here, to the Prempeh that we knew, and to even a higher level Prempeh of the future, there are certain critical investments that we need to make. And I'm sure some of you have seen some of the pictures that, I've seen floating there, WhatsApp or other social media. The bottom line is that the school needs help, and we are in a position, or we may be in a position, I'll challenge us that we should be able to collectively continue with the support that seniors have been offering the school and our alma mater. And I would like to pause and say thank you for all that you've done for the school, but we still got work ahead of us. So what do we do with this, and how do we go from here? This is where I'll go off script, and I'm going to say something about me and also some of the things that I've done. And I can't get into all of that, but I said at the beginning, it has helped mold me into the person that I am today. Form 5, I left Prempeh College. I went to St. Peter's for 2 years. Prempeh wasn't really, offering the courses that I wanted to take. The sciences came, easily to me, but that wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I went straight into the business field. I learned a lot, worked in many countries, worked with many people, different walks of life. But one thing that I would like to zero in will be the work that I'm doing at the foundation that I am working with right now, one of the foundations. And that is Casey Family Programs, where I serve as the Chief Investment Officer. So who is Jim Casey? So Jim Casey is the founder of UPS, those brown trucks that, when you're trying to back out of your driveway, they're sort of blocking you or doing all kinds of stuff to you. But it's so those same brown trucks, that help us survive COVID. Talk about all the deliveries. But Jim didn't have it easy. He dropped out of school, I think it was around 16, 17. His dad passed away with $100 loan from some special friends of his. He set up American Messenger Service, which became UPS. In Seattle, Washington, moved to Oakland, New York City, Greenwich, Connecticut, back to New York, and today Atlanta. When he passed on, he left his entire wealth to cater for the needs of children in foster care. They'll be writing big checks, don't worry. They can, keep on. And so during his lifetime, he set up a number of foundations. I'm sure you've heard about an E. Casey Foundation in Baltimore. And Casey Family Programs is a sister foundation. And there's another one, Marguerite Casey Foundation, and the UPS Foundation. So this guy has moved on for 40 years. But there are $4 billion plus foundations that carry his legacy on, giving back to the community. And I'll say that collectively among these foundations invested over $20 billion in child welfare-related matters, both here and globally. And in addition to that, you have the UPS Corporation, which employs over 500,000 people around the world. So you talk about impact, at the intersection of non-for-profit and for-profit. I'm not saying that we should all be Jim Casey. He left a very high mark. But I'm saying that we all have the ability, to make a change. We all have the ability to lift Prempeh up even higher heights than where it is today. We all have the ability in our own little way, to make a change. You may say, well, I'm only one person and I have my own issues, so how can I fix this? And there's a proverb that I picked up, I think in South Africa or either South Africa or Botswana. I don't remember which one. But the saying was, if you think you're too small, then you probably haven't spent a night with a mosquito in a room, right? Because that mosquito could be making all kinds of noises and trying to suck some blood from you, and you wouldn't have a nice sleep because it's small, but it's making a lot of noise. So that is the challenge that I'm throwing there. But I'm also saying that I have at least 5 recommendations or 5 suggestions that I would like to make as to how we can continue to positively impact our communities and give back to Mother Prempeh. Remember when we went to the super zonals and when everybody is happy, everybody is on cloud 9. We want to get to that mode. We want to get to that zone. And it takes efforts and our contributions to get there. So the first contribution or suggestion that I'd like to make, and I'll be brief here, will be the endowment fund. Much has been said about it, but we need more. We need more to move ahead. The truth of the matter is that the Prempeh College needs lots and lots of resources to cope with the deluge of challenges that we face. The country itself has its own challenges. GES cannot do it alone. Now, the endowment is not supposed to supplant, GES or the PTA or the school. It's supposed to what? Supplement. The doctors around here tell you, you've got to take some supplements, and it doesn't really replace, what GES is supposed to do. So what I'm throwing out is that we appreciate your contributions, but we need to do more. To whom much is given, more will be required. So please, as we carry on, deep into the night, I entreat you to dip deep to help Mother Prempeh. But it doesn't end there. Today, we have many pools of assets or funds amongst various year groups. And I'm also throwing out a thought that if there's a way to consolidate these funds under the ANAPEV, I see as an example, Senior Che is somewhere over here, and allow the market to do its work. Yes, when you have the assets, when you have that assets consolidated, you gain traction, you increase your leverage, your bargaining power. It allows you to access certain asset classes that you cannot. We are not at $1 million today. And yet, if you look at the contributions by Prempeh to the rest of the world, we should be much more than that. So that's something that I'm throwing out there for us to consider. And I'll go local right now in Key. And somebody can maybe do the translation later. And before say it, when it's scattered all over the place, and you don't gain that traction. So the need to come together, even with our contributions, and move forward is super important. Secondly, we talked about the fiscal infrastructure. I will not belabor it. I recall when I was at Prempeh, I'm not sure we're even 1,000 students throughout all the classes together. Today, you have multiples of that, using the same set of physical infrastructures. I'm telling you, some of the pictures, if you can look at them before you have dinner, you may wonder why we have that at this day and age. Why, at this day and age, the only college in Sofoline, you have students, not having access to the facilities that one would expect that they should have. But I would say that here, I would like to note that some of the Amanfoɔ group, like the Amanfoɔ Center, which is being sponsored by our colleagues in the UK, is worthy of mention. And I know that a couple of years, the 81, 83-year group, my year group, well represented here, also undertook the renovation of beds because they were infested by bed bugs and so forth. But what we need is that we need a sustainable form of funding to basically help put some of these things in place. Today, what we have is more of an event-driven approach. Yeah, there are bed bugs, so we have to go and raise money. We do so, we take care of it. How about the maintenance? How about fundraising fatigue? We need sustainable form of funding. Again, the endowment can help, but endowment cannot do its work in name only. Our contributions is a key component, and secondly, we need to bring that together in the pool of assets to get it going. You talk about human capital development. I won't say much over here. Prempeh has really punched above his weight, and we are all very proud of the current successes in the National Science and Robotics competition. The winner, I spoke to the young gentleman, I think he's here amongst us, and right there, that's the example. And I'm sure there'll be an introduction from Joe Kay, but we have an example sitting right here. And I recall right after Prempeh College won that event, I was speaking at an event, I don't know, I think London, and one of the guys from Switzerland, he knows about Prempeh College, and he asked me to give a shout out to Prempeh because the school punched above his weight and is very well known, and Amanfoɔ is well known around the world, and we need to keep it up. The lecture series were mentioned, and this is one area where we have the currency that is not cashed. I sometimes sit back and I say to myself, how many physicians, as an example, that work in North America went through Prempeh College? And what is it that they're doing in their communities? We have a number of them. We need to tell our story. We need to bring people under the tent. It's good to meet and greet and be happy and talk to ourselves and feel good. But we need to speak to other people too. We need to bring them in. I'll give you an example. We have conferences like the Milken Institute, call it the Davos of the West. You have the Aspen, you have Chatham House in the UK. I'm sure some of our Amanfoɔ have contacts or ability to get us on the podium to tell our story. I can give you an example that there's a very good venture capitalist in Silicon Valley who's made billions. I mean, billions is a B for many people. People strive to get into that fund. And just because we're in the Fund A doesn't mean you automatically get to go in Fund B. Well, I had a conversation with the founder. I told him about Jim Casey's story. I told him about what we are doing as a foundation, Casey, to improve the well-being of children in foster care in this country. As a matter of fact, I got in a highly oversubscribed fund 200 million allocation, which the placement agent, he never thought I was going to even get 10 million. I got 200 million. And if you go with his record, this guy will turn this 200 million at least 2 billion. Just give him time. His track record proves it. We need to tell our story to get these people engaged. They want to create value. They want to leave their impact. We want to leave an impact just as 76, 78 and other year groups have done. But we need to reach out. We can't be talking to ourselves. As far as the networking is concerned, it's a strength, but it's also an opportunity for us to reach out. Together, we can tackle these challenges that are thrown at us. And to create an enduring legacy, I would say that we need a forum to share ideas. But you see, we don't want these ideas to turn into very long meetings and midnight marathons. I have friends in Europe say that they don't want to turn into no action, talk only, right? No action, NATO. I'm not going to say the name. No action. We want to do something. So we should be able to get it, because while we continue talking and talking and talking, Mother Prempeh is looking for needs help. Prempeh has been great to us, super good to us, super good to the world. We need to carry this legacy on. I end by saying that, I acknowledge, again, the contributions of the, 86, 76, 78 year group succeeded and given back to their communities while maintaining very good ties with Prempeh. And for that, I'll say thank you, seniors. I know there's some here and there are others people sitting amongst us. And I'm going to go over a list. I may miss some, but I have a catch-it-all. The list goes on. So I say thank you, Senior Gambi, Sabata, V, Pascal, Malam, Alaji, Oparisam, William Osei, Faith, Joe Caesar, Champom, Pop, Senior Loma, Amwa Bediakon Kwame Apia. Thank you, seniors. And in saying that, I'll say that our challenges may be many, but we are not deterred. And together we can, surmount these obstacles, and we can find lasting, solutions. I'll say let's leverage our networks for greater engagement, not dance on the dance floor, but greater engagements to find sustainable solutions for Prempeh College. Enjoy the 2022 reunion, and please, always remember what Mother Prempeh has done for you. That green, defend your green shirt, that green color says a lot. It's life, it's vitality, it's legacy, it's subain eninum dear. Thank you, seniors. Enjoy your evening.